What's up, guys? I'll try and get this shit shut down. 1 second. Get this glare off the screen. Pull this over. There we go. I think it helps a bit. What's going on, guys? What's happening? Do we have anyone in here? Only a couple. What's happening? So today we have a women's edition. I need to get my hair cut. But we have a women's edition today. So we won't just be investing, it won't just be money. Are you guys essentially not looking at the crypto market that we likely have a 50-50 coin flip for a bottom? As always, crypto Twitter are freaking out. Therefore, it's very likely that we're at a bottom. 1 second, I'll fucking grab this. I'll go live again in no, 1 second. Let's get my food. We got food here. All right, we're on. Good. I got food here. So, what are we going to cover today? You guys essentially, again, crypto Twitter bearish at the bottom, very likely. One, alts again at 4-year support. Like we're at a 4-year support line for altcoins, specifically against Bitcoin, and everyone is bearish. We're at actually gargantuan support for altcoins against the others pair. So the others against BTC are at gargantuan support, and everyone is flipping bearish. And I would expect that they'll get trapped in a short squeeze, as they have the whole way up. You guys need to know that X and Twitter in general are the lowest common denominator on the markets. Most of them, if at all, they got lucky investing originally because they were either very early in Bitcoin or they only make their money shilling shit coins that essentially get you wrecked. It's true. Most of them were in the markets for like 10 years and they didn't make any money in the market until they started launching rug pulls in the last 2 years. Most of them are shit munchers in that space. Many of them. I know many of them. And they're just shit bags. Porn addiction. Yes, of course, it's a real thing. I mean, it's obvious for porn addiction, they lose the sparkle in their eye because something is feeding on them. It's true. That's it. There's just got to stop fucking jerking off the porn. It's not that hard. Like, stop jerking off the porn. It's just that most of you're not busy enough. Porn is not about, oh, I'm horny. Trust me. It's about, oh, I want a dopamine thrill immediately. How do I get a quick win? I just want to rub one out. It's not about that you're not horny. You're not horny like you think you are just because you're watching porn. They run opposite. Porn is about distraction, similar to drugs. It's the same thing. I've had a coke habit for a long time in the past, and it's exactly the same thing. You don't want the coke. You just want what the coke distracts you away from. Sometimes it's nice to have that distraction with porn. People do it because, one, there's nothing to do. They're bored. They jerk off, and then they get the fog. So they rub one out 2 or 3 times, or one at least once. But with porn, it's very hypersexualized, like it's very artificial. So it's a big thrill. And then after, they feel like they've, one, accomplished something, and two, they feel like they're distracted now. They're all clouded up. You get the prolactin and the progesterone burst. So you feel like you've accomplished something, and also your head is in a fog. So now you don't think about all of the shit that you're avoiding. So that's it. You're just avoiding things. Again, you have to do the 30 minutes to begin with, 2 to 4 a.m. and start to look inside. I want to see it as our income, but a smart way. Yeah, these girls get the work done and we're smart ones because they don't have to be on OF. I want her to see it as our income, but it's in a smart way. Like, yeah, these girls get the work done and we're the smart ones because they don't have to be on OF. Yeah, I guess, but OF itself, women, I mean, like it's men run the product. Like men own the product, men manage the models, men manage the banks, men manage the payment processes. Men manage every single step along the way for women, and then they sit there and they're like, I can't believe girls are on OnlyFans. You should be angry at the men. You should be angry at the buyers. If someone's selling a product on the street and that product is pussy and others are buying it, you can't be upset at those who run around and start selling it. Imagine that you could make money just for showing a nipple online. And some girls can make like, don't fall for the psyop. I know guys that running girls that make millions of dollars a year on OnlyFans. So guys will be like, that doesn't happen. I can bet you it fucking does because I see it all of the time. I know guys running OF that make hundreds of thousands of dollars cash a month or more. Cash, not fucking shit sitting back being like, I have to pay massive amounts of taxes. So it's a very profitable business, of course, because it's porn. Porn is a very hot product. Essentially, the margins are massive. Gambling is another, but I think porn is an even hotter product. It's the truth. Like compare valuations of OnlyFans versus valuations of steak. Porn's a massive product. I think it's pretty obvious. And that's it. Like, again, but women are going to get bailed out on that anyway, because later on they'll be like, those were AI generated images. So people will just be like, oh, is this true that you were on OF? And then by then, though, you'll be able to just type a girl's name and post their photo and then get full fucking sex scenes of it. So she'll just be able to turn around and be like, no, that wasn't me. That was AI made. That's the brilliance of it. Women usually get bailed out. Like, that's life. Women get bailed out if they are attractive. Like, you see OnlyFans girls and someone is waiting at the end for that girl. You better believe that. Millionaires will date girls on OnlyFans. Millionaires will date girls that are sexy. You got to, on the lowest end, guys just fantasize about having a girl that like just listens to them. But then they don't realize that if they were to get that and then they had it over an extended period of time, that starts to get boring. That's the truth of the matter. Like, that's the case. You always want what you don't have, and then as soon as you get it, and then you have it for a while, it gets boring. It's the case. Guys like if you watch the girls that are in porn, that's the girls that the guys want to fuck. Obviously, like that's the most like they're the ones that people are like most watching. So it's quite obvious that that's the look and things that essentially that men go for. Can you fuck off? Yes, I'm on the stream. I hate people coming to my apartment, by the way. You guys will figure that out. I don't like whenever anyone comes around. I don't like any guests, any randoms. That's why I don't even like to order food. That's what I did. You mentioned ChatGPT integrating erotica chatting. Can you please expand on what it will bring? Erotica chatting is just a step to erotica chatting is just a step towards fucking what I say? Virtual girlfriends. It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning of having a virtual girlfriend. Like that's the beginning. You've trained the chatbot. Now you'll train an erotica bot, and essentially it will learn what it is that you and people like, sexual talk wise, and then it will just progress into essentially, it's just a texting for now. Then it'll be texting with a video and a photo, and you'll be talking to the girl, and then she'll be interactive, and then eventually you'll have VR in a game, and she'll be your girlfriend. For most of you, like half of the people here, you'll have a VR girlfriend within the next 5 or 10 years. It's the truth of the matter. Like, it's just easier. It makes the most sense. Most people don't understand women. A lot of people don't really like women. Like, if they're honest with themselves, they don't like women because they don't understand them. It's easier to just have a virtual reality chick that just listens to you, does whatever it is that you want, and gasses you up. She can't leave. Like, she won't leave you. You can just change variety over time. It doesn't matter. You can have 5 virtual girlfriends if you want. But people don't realize that you can have 2 girlfriends now. I'm not saying you, because you probably have 0 fucking frame, but a guy who does can. It's not like that shit is not difficult. Do you know how many times I've had 2 girlfriends before where they both only about each other and both sat in the same room? Many times. That's not that difficult if that's what you want. But you can't get it by deception. Like, you can't have 2 girlfriends by lying to both. That's the low vibration. That's the lowest end. Your pickup artists and like Redpill guys that you watch just lie about women. They lie to girls and then they're like, I have 3 girlfriends, but I'm lying to all of them. And then that's all crap. Like, that's easy. Lying to chicks is easy because it's going to fall over. Can you talk on the idea of wanting to be a guy that gets with a lot of women, but not having the mentality for it, in the sense that I'm made better for a long-term relationship, but I want to be a player for a bit? Well, essentially, you should at least try what it is that you want. But why do you think like player? Like, what is definition of player? Are you lying? Like, are you lying to women? Are you leading them on? Are you getting a thrill out of hurting people? Because then it will just ensure that you don't get a long-term relationship in the future, because you'll accumulate a ton of karmic debt. Some of you think that you can be in the mud and then just suddenly be like, all right, time to just jump into the clean tank and I'm just going to be a married husband. And that's why you don't have what you want. Because you try to live in both worlds again. And in doing so, you exist in neither. It's true. Commitment frightens a lot of you. You talk about women being scared of commitment, but a lot of you are scared of commitment. And because you don't commit to anything, you'll have nothing. That's the truth of the matter. Yes, I was in a relationship before I went to prison, and my ex actually snitched on me, which is the reason why I went to prison. So I was selling drugs. And I know all of this because I was cheating on her at the time. And there was one chick that she's like, don't fuck this girl. And I was like, yeah, okay, I won't. And then I did. And then she found out. And then she went to the police on me and told them a bunch of guys that I was selling drugs to. And then they went to the guys, arrested a few of them. One of them snitched on me, said that he brought it from me. And then it brought everything together to fuck me over. But I know all of this shit because I know now what works and what doesn't. Lying to women doesn't work. Most of you, like you and me too, you're honest about it. You lie to women because you don't want to hurt their feelings. You want to manipulate them. You want to gain something out of it, but you also want to get something that you yourself don't qualify for, or you think that you don't qualify for. Some of you think that women don't like sex. Like some of you really think that women don't like to fuck, and the only way that you can fuck them is to lie to them or promise them something. And that's a very dangerous idea that someone has put in your head, because a lot of women like sex. And a lot of you, again, you look too far. Like that's the big problem that you have with women. You look too far into it. Like it's something small in the beginning. It's like you're still trying to light a fire. You've got a bonfire there. There's just a few sparks, and you throw the fucking giant log on top. And then you're like, all right, now this is what I expect. I want this, I want this, I want this. And then the girl's like, I'm smothered. Like, get me the fuck out of here. This is not going to work. Women, it's an investment a penny at a time. You won't understand the alpha of that phrase, but that's the truth of the matter. Invest a penny at a time before they look at the pot and it's like they're in all in. But you got there a fucking centimeter at a time. That's the truth of the matter. If a python is to eat a fucking elephant, he eats one bite at a single time. But before you know it, he can in fact devour a whole elephant. That's true. You go a step at a time with women. Before they know it, they're actually entirely in your frame. Getting with women is like capturing a bird. You have your hand out and you don't fucking try to grab it, or otherwise they fly away. You wait till it's completely on you. That's the trick. You get them to invest. Like a lot of you don't know how to get women to invest because you don't know how to. A lot of you either don't know how to invest your heart though. You only invest your finances. Like a lot of you, I want to go on a date. Let's say you talk to a girl off Tinder. You don't know how to vet girls. Like most of you only know how to lead with your wallet. I'm a wallet. And then she's like, okay, this guy's paying for my dinner tonight. And then I have another dinner. Then I have another dinner. Then I have another dinner. If she asks you, like, where are you taking it? And then you're like, oh, I couldn't tell her that I want to take it to, like, I don't know, somewhere that's normal. Then it's a pretty shit date. Like, you're not going to get anywhere. She's not interested in you. Her budget is too high. Some of you see girls flying around like Maldives or like fucking, I don't know, anywhere. And then you look in and you're like, I'm going to still hit on that girl for some reason. Why the fuck would you? Like, you're getting less, but you're going to have to make a very large investment. Some of you think that girls are influencers are good fucks for some reason. And I can tell you that I've fucked fucking so many that I've lost count. And that's some of the worst sex that you'll ever have, because they have a sense of entitlement. Like, they think that there's something special. Do you know the girls that the hotter the girl is, usually the worse the sex is? If you're banging 8s and 9s, usually they don't fuck as good as a 6 or a 7. It's a fact. Like, that's a fact of life. They've been told too long how hot they are, and that essentially they don't do shit. Hey, Stephen, thank you for the answers. You talked about nuclear energy, uranium. What energy stock should I buy? I'll tell you one, Oklo, OKLO. That's a 20 or a 50x from here before 2030. That's a Sam Altman investment. But the rest of them, you can join the channel. I'm not going to sit here and fucking give everyone my shit that took me how long to invest. But even if you wanted to invest in the Varnac nuclear energy ETF, you would still make a good return. It's up 90% for the year, but before 2030, it'll be up 500% from here. It's a fact. They don't. Well, but also understand that they've figured out a new form of fusion. They just haven't told you yet. It's not nuclear. Although the nuclear that they have now is much better than it used to be. It's not Chernobyl. It's not like a meltdown reactor. Even if they hit it with a rocket, it's not the same. It's not going to just blow up in a mushroom cloud. It's quite contained. What's my thoughts on veganism and animal cruelty? I actually do believe the older that I get that we are too cruel to animals. It's a fact. Like, we're too cruel to them. I don't like eating shit. If I'm to eat meat and things, and I can sort of tell if the animal has been suffering. Like, I don't like these kill floors and shit where they treat animals really poorly. I don't agree with that. I don't like this mass-produced, they have chickens there and then essentially they smother them to death and shit. And then you have some people who work in the abattoir, and I'm not saying all, but some of them are fucking nutcases and they abuse animals badly. Some people can be good in that area. I'm not saying they all are, but it would attract psychopaths and that sort of business. Like, they would be abusing animals there. some people who wants to just go and kill animals. It's not normal. I'm not saying killing them. I'm not saying their job is unimportant, because it still is. But I would imagine that there would be some serious psychopaths in those like areas where they get a cow on its own and they really fuck it up, and it's unnecessary. That's the truth. So the older that I get, this like running around and bragging about eating steaks and laughing at my animals and that's low vibration. There needs to be some sort of solution. I do believe that. I believe the solution is like it's free range. But of course, most people can't afford free range. Like free range is very expensive. And I do believe free range is probably a big LARP. You know, a lot of this I'm eating organic free range, it's probably not even that. Do you know in the old days, this an old like mafia thing that they used to do out of Italy? They'd sell a lot of fake olive oil, and they'd sell this olive oil to the States, and it wasn't olive oil; it was just the fake oil that they were just making themselves, and they would mark it up like 5x and then sell it and be like, "This is just like Mama used to make back home," and then they would just dump it on the Americans for 5x the price. That's how the mafia, they made fucking billions of dollars over there, and nothing changed. Like they're still doing the same shit. I'm not saying the mafia, but the groups are still doing the same shit. They sell a lot. A lot of the stuff is just a complete farce. Like it's a scam. I'm eating organic eggs, and then if you were to actually look how the chickens were, I would imagine that they're much the same. It's just a farce. Like it's a farce. It's a scam. It's a scam. That sort of shit. To have a farm or something is different. If you have a cow and it has a pretty decent life, and then you eventually one day just walk up and pop it in the head, that's a bit different. Like then to essentially put it in an abattoir and then it exists there to die. Like you're breeding animals to die. That's not a good thing. Like that's funny until that's you. See, these ideas are different. That's a funny idea. Of course, I like that because I can eat it, dude. But then until that was you, and then it's not funny anymore. So that's your life to exist in a fucking like an abattoir, being tormented, and then listening. Have you ever like been around when things have died a lot? The whole place stinks. The animals would just be pissing and shitting themselves the whole time, like terrified. It changes the meat also. I believe it's also part of what makes people less humane. If the animal has suffered a great threat before it dies, you can best bet when you eat it that you're passing something on to yourself. Like if you eat human flesh, that's the same idea. It's not just how it died and that it's meat, it suffered. There's a lot of shit running through it, probably a lot of adrenaline and stuff, and then you essentially consume it. And it fucks you up. Like that's obvious. Do you think people are a lot more humane now than they were? They're not. This is the truth. Depends how the animal is killed, as to how it passes on to you. You can taste it, like you can feel it. When you eat something, you can be like, this isn't good. Like if you eat like a hamburger, you know that it's not good. Like you're very unlikely even eating any sort of meat. You're probably eating a bunch of crap. Yeah, cortisol and adrenaline, I believe that's true. It stays in there, specifically if you eat like very raw. If you know people that eat raw meat, a lot of them can become complete barbarians. And not in a good way. Like people think being a caveman is a good way for some reason. It's not the case. Because again, this is completely uncooked. Like you're just eating something that essentially suffered greatly just now and then eating it. And people will be like, but in the villages they do it of Africa, and the guy's running around with a 60 IQ and that's your mentor. Fucking dumbass. I do what people do that are fucking smart. I don't do what people do that live in a fucking cave and shit and fucking wipe their ass with their hands. I don't care what they do. I'm not them. I don't want to be them. Some guys will be like, yeah, but in those countries, like they live to be this age and they're still living in a fucking hut. They haven't figured out fucking bricks or anything yet. And then I don't care if I don't want to live 90 years in a hut. I'd rather live 60 in a fucking civilized society, obviously. Spiritual question. I was born in a family warlock bloodline. Some good, some bad. It's a bad karma to connect with that side to exploit it for a couple of years. It's the wrong mentality to think that you can exploit something and in turn won't exploit you. There's nothing that you'll exist in and be very good at that won't change you. Like you can't just go down one way for a few years and then completely change course. You should focus on going down one way, and essentially if you get lost in that way, so be it. Don't like again, commitment frightens you. The committing is where you find yourself. You can become something new. It's not that you're going to be stuck in a certain path. Yes, I believe it's true. Meat is not good. I'm not saying meat is bad. Like, like meat is bad and that you have to become some soy boy eating veggie patties. But meat, it's not great. Like that's quite obvious to me when I eat it. I can tell. Depends how it's killed, of course, in certain levels and things, but It's not great. Like it's obviously a problem. Like these, oh yeah, they have these kill floors and these like, in China where they have like a 20-story building full of animals and they just gut and kill them. You think that's a good thing? That's a bad thing. It's not good. We have a problem there, whether society wants to admit it or not. We have a problem. We need a solution that isn't just fucking Bill Gates telling us to eat fucking Beyond Meat that's garbage. But the situation that we have with cattle and that is unsustainable. It's too expensive, and that's by force. Like that's intentional. Do you know when farmers and that most of them are dead? Like not all, but a lot of them are dead fucking broke because a lot of the artificial crap has squeezed them out. You want to run a good farm and look after your animals and essentially kill them at the end, yes, but others are just breeding animals to kill them. You can't compete. Like you can't compete with that sort of thing. They'll make their animals suffer more and just give them a less quality of life and feed them trash and hormones. How can you beat that? They have a cheaper product that they can build faster and push out quicker and with no care for how it lives. And you're trying to do the right thing. You need a certain amount of cash back. Maybe it cost price like $20 for a full steak because you're doing it all right. You're looking after the animals and all that. But then some pleb does it for $5 because they pump the animals full of hormones and just push them out. They don't care if the chicken lives in a cage with the fucking broken legs for its whole life, and then eventually they kill it. They crush it into a little fucking compacted tube, and they don't care if something like its life is just misery every single second. How are you going to compete with that when you have free-range chickens running around? Your margins are too high. You're trying to look after the animals. Others are just treating them like shit. Animals don't exist for you to just profit off. They're not just born for you to just profit off their misery. What did you learn when essentially Jesus was to go into the money markets and throw the animals out? It's not for you to just sit there and fucking think that they're your toys. They're not. It's different to be you have like a dog and your dog has puppies and then you sell the puppies. That's different than essentially, but those puppy farms they have where they can treat the dogs completely like shit and they push a lot of inbreeding. So you see like these fucking, I don't know, like a pug or something and it's too pure. And then it's like has a fucking horrible life. Some of those like French bulldogs that are kind of like retarded. They're not meant to be like that. And then essentially you're creating something that's going to have a difficult life. Yeah, I don't know why you would panic over something, but again, you've self-sabotaged. You need to identify why it is that you did that, and it's very likely that your foundation is incorrect. You don't think that you deserve to be happy, and that's the nature of it. Is there a book smart way to learn what you know about, for example, money and investing, or did you go through solely observation? I would say observation, but still there's book smart, understanding some parts of game theory. I understand who's the guy? Not Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, is that his name? He's one of the greatest guys, not for investing, obviously, he's a banker, and he might have been somewhat of a scumbag, but he's got a brilliant mind. His mind is brilliant. He's one of the greatest. That's a fact. Buffett is good too, but he's better. He's better than Buffett. Again, he's one of his greatest quotes, and something that I remember is show me the incentives and I'll show you the outcome. That's all game theory is. If I know the rewards and the incentives and the key players, I know how the outcome will end. Like that's obvious. It's obvious what will happen because the key players will win and they'll alter the game as it is for them to essentially benefit the most. So that's how you essentially can predict things very well. Who will win? Do you know much about Palmer-Larky? I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know who that is. Thoughts on trying to get your girl to lose weight by framing it in a healthy way and trying to get them to see that you're trying to help them. See, you're too worried. Like if your girl doesn't want to lose weight and that she's not even trying, it's pointless. Like it's pointless. It's over. Like your relationship is dead. She's unsuitable. She's not trying to do better to essentially be happy. She's not trying to be healthy. I'm not saying that she might be depressed. She might be sad. She might be all of these things. But she needs to put fucking effort into her own health. If she's not going to look after herself, she's not going to. If you don't love you, see, this is the illusion. If people think that those who don't love themselves can ever love you, and they don't, because they don't know what love is. Love doesn't exist from. I mean, you don't love yourself if you're still, not taking care of your body, your health. You're happy to just present a complete wreck to the world and then be like, don't judge me because I'm a wreck. Of course, you're going to be judged. People are very visual, as they would expect to be. Ugliness, you can't change. Like, I have a fuck nose, I have this stuff. I could change it because I have money, but I don't really care in that regard. But being fat is different because it's something that you can control. You know, some guys have like bald, busted face, kind of skinny because they don't really have like very good genetics for putting on muscle. Some guys have a belly, but there's a difference between that and being a fucking like warthog, or like just presenting erect to the world. Like, you at least do your hair, like you try to do something. You can't quit. Like, you can't just give up. Like, some people you see and you're like, this guy is just completely given up. If you've given up on yourself, why should I not give up on you as well? That's it. Since adopting more and more of your ideas on women, my interactions with them have been much more pleasant. They are more drawn to me and solid, start engagements ever, which never happened before. That's the truth of the matter. That is very true. I'll turn Telegram off because I don't want this shit beeping the whole fucking time. But yeah, that's very true. Women, essentially, you'll realize, are actually a mirror to your femininity as well. That's the truth. Men have both masculinity and femininity inside themselves. You need to understand how you were born before you were essentially your sex was chosen. Like, in the womb, you're not anything yet. Like, in the beginning, you have both, and then a decision is made where essentially it's you to go in one direction. But both still exist. Like, your feminine side still exists. That's part of the creativity, artistic side. A lot of guys run in and just want to lean completely into this fucking stoic Terminator shit, and that shit's dumb. Like, women don't have anything to go by with that. Some guys don't understand why guys like Machine Gun Kelly kill it with women, like fucking slay it, like slaughter. Doesn't mean he's a fag because he looks a bit fruity. For looking a little fruity and being a fag are completely different. You can look a little bit feminine and not be a fag. Like, that's pretty obvious. I know a lot of guys, and some that I've known, who look very masculine and are actually gay, or they're bi, or they're just trying to, because they can lean the other way. Like, they're trying to overcompensate with this hyper masculinity. They're trying to put an image out that isn't true. Do you know when you see people that really hate gays and they run around and they're like, I'm going to beat them up? I would guess that probably half of them are actually gay. And they're trying to like show the world that they're so against them because they themselves, again, have projected onto the others and they don't like themselves. They're trying to destroy a projection of themselves. What would you do if your network was 3 million right now? You don't feel quite rich, but you're comfortable. I would just be smartly invested and also have enough on the side that I'm not fucked if I was all into crypto. See, if I've got 3 million, I would have 2, and then I would move into a cash flowing business with 1 or 500K. Not buying something that's a bullshit business and being like, I have to spend a ton of money and buy something that can't scale. You have a technique. If you've made $3 million, why don't you sell the method to your technique and actually scale into something that's fucking a digital product? It's the truth. When you say you need both light and the dark, how does that work? Won't the dark knock me out of alignment? No, alignment is found by incorporating both, and then you live in the middle, and both actually weigh you in. It's the truth of it. The light and the dark, and you exist in the middle. That's called a world of balance. But both are there. If you ever want to go into one side, you can. And if you want to go back to the other, you can. But also you listen to the noise from both. You can just accept things as they are. You don't have to. A lot of this stuff, like, again, you need to lose these ideas of it's just like so black and white. Like, if I have a negative thought, or I have like, a negative idea, or I want to push this guy down the stairs, sometimes you get like invasive thoughts that it means that you're like fucking some demon or something. It's not that. It's what you do with it. Everyone gets those sort of ideas. Do you know how many ideas I get where someone annoys me and I'm like, I would just like to punch this guy in the face? It happens to me probably once a week. Or slap this guy for being a fucking dumbass. Like, why is this guy talking shit? This is annoying. And I don't do it because I'm like, I don't know. That's the way it is. But you don't, you can't fucking, it's just what you do with it. Like, it's your control. You're in control. Women love the dark side. So again, if you aren't able to pull from the dark side, do you think women go to church and they get wet? Like, you really think that? They don't. Women in that shit, all of those ideas, they don't care about that. Like, they care about that from a godly side, but they don't have a connection to God. It's found through you. So again, it doesn't get them wet. The darkness gets them wet, but you need to be a capable of both. When that fucking nerd Peterson says women want like a contained monster, that's true. It's very true. But the women don't want someone that's completely in the light because it's not real. Again, the saying of Nietzsche where he says, for a man to reach heaven, his roots must extend into hell. That's very true. That's the same thing. He exists in the balance of both in between. Thoughts on Adam Hyperbolic? I know Adam. He's good. He's very quantitative with his approach to the market, whereas you're very qualitative. qualitative. I don't even know what that word means. Yeah, he's good. He's cool. He's a good dude. I like Adam. I've met him a couple of times. He's Australian as well. He's good. He does well. I think he's in the real world. He's good. He's in the real world. The real world itself is a good product. I believe that. I don't think that it's bad. If I thought it was shit, I would say it was shit. I don't care who runs it or whatever. But it's not a bad product at all, especially for the price. It's just a way to get essentially exposure to a bunch of ideas, and maybe you can get to an intermediate level in those ideas. But you can also see what it is that you like, and not only what it is that you like, what you have an aptitude for, because what you like isn't exactly enough, specifically in the beginning. Is facing your fears a viable pathway to discovering yourself in some higher alignment, especially if you grew up with a lot of anxiety in family and personally. Facing your fears is not done with exposure therapy unless you've essentially done the exposure therapy yourself. See what happens when you essentially, I'm scared of heights because I had a bad fall or something happened. And now you're like, I'm just going to stand on a ledge a bunch of times till I'm not scared. You're not going to you're still scared, but you're just going to disconnect your head and your heart. That's normal to be scared. Like it's normal to be afraid at certain things. If you stand on a ledge and look over, if you're not afraid, that's not something to brag about, unless you're some sort of daredevil that does this shit all of the time. That just shows that your head and your heart are disconnected. Like a lot of this, like trying to force yourself to be traumatized is not good. Trauma pushes you out of alignment. You bet about that. A lot of this, like perfect the faraway stare, and I want to look hard and I want to seem like I'm cold. That's damaged, man. I want to go to a boxing gym and then I want to perfect like a gaze. That's all a farce. Like that's fake. You see veterans come back from war, and the first thing that they want to get rid of the gaze. They don't like it because they know that it isolates them from society. They're not putting on an act. Like they are actually the one that's traumatized, and they don't, like, guys are trying to force that sort of trauma on themselves for some reason. That's so stupid. Trauma is annoying to be around also because you're going to project and you're going to be like your emotional intelligence is going to be very low. You haven't processed it. Trauma is fine if it's processed. It can be great because you've conquered something. You have something. Everything that you defeat, every beast and demon that you defeat, builds one extra like skill point that you can essentially use to put into something else. But you have to defeat it. You can't be traumatized and then not face it or hide from it or think that going to the gym or something to essentially mute that noise means anything. It doesn't. It doesn't mean anything because people and things, you're not going to live a completely balanced life. Gym and boxing and all of that is good for a sport, but it's just a sport. It's not going to help you find who you are. And it's not going to essentially, again, if you're using it as a distraction, I go to the gym and I burn myself out so much so that when I go home, I can't, like the communication is low because I had such a big workout. I'm tired. That's okay. It's good to train hard, but you're probably missing out on being able to have an inner dialogue with yourself if you're using it to escape from who you are. That's why you need to do the time at night. You shouldn't be training at night. You should never be in the gym at night. You want to have that communication open from as soon as the moon comes out. You shouldn't be training at night. You do all of your physical activities during the day when the sun is out, and you do all of your mental activities and architect of reality activities at night. You don't confuse the two. Ideally, if you were to be the goat of all goats, I don't do this because I don't think that I need to, but you wouldn't eat. Like you wouldn't eat after dark. As soon as darkness comes, you wouldn't eat. And then you would also not train. That would be the best thing you could do because you got zero distractions. You got zero distractions, and essentially that's how you can have good communication with the lattice. And also you're going to have a open pineal gland because I believe that when you don't eat carbs before bed, I believe you get bigger pulses of not just that, but HGH and all of the shit like, I don't know, melatonin and all of that crap that helps you sleep well. And you probably dream well. Yes, work a graveyard schedule. I would do work quite similar. I mean, I'm up till probably 4 or 5 most nights, but you just have to try to figure it out. I don't know. I don't know all of the things that, why is nighttime better than the day? Because the veil is thinner. The communication with the lattice is thinner, and that less people are awake and less people are doing it. Most people go home and just watch Netflix. During the day, there's a lot of emotional impact. There's a lot of things happening. Like you're meant to build during the day with your hands, do things with your hands during the day. Like you're meant to labor, you're meant to do something. And then at night, you're meant to do all of the mental work, like the self-work. That's the inner self-work because it's quiet. Like the noise is gone. That's all intentional. Like that's the idea. If you can't feel when the moon is out, like for real, I don't understand how no one can. Like if you can't feel that it's different as soon as it's like 9 or 10 o'clock, like you can't feel it. It's different. And it's not just different that it's quiet. It's different. The energy is different. It's more feminine at night. Like it's different. As during the day, it's more masculine. Like the sun is like a masculine figure, and the moon itself is like a feminine figure. If you can't feel that, then something is missing. The lattice is like the Akatri records. Essentially, it's the all-knowing everything that will ever exist. You communicate with it. It's where all of the ideas and all of the tech and all of the breakthroughs and all of the innovation and all of the best, highest parts of you come from. All of the tests come through the similar system. Depending on how you pass them is to be dependent on essentially your life, right? Do you hear callings too at night? You can, yes, of course. Yes, pro boxers and things like that. Like, understand with gangsters and things, boxers are not gangsters. Like, for some reason, I don't know why people think that. Fighters are not gangsters. Like, they're not drug dealers or anything. The dangerous people are the people that will just kill you. They don't care if you're a boxer. Like, they don't care. In prison, it's not dangerous to fight boxers. It's dangerous to fight people who will just kill people 10 at a time. You're a boxer, but now you're fighting 20 people in the unit and they just stomp you to death. It's funny because you're a good fighter, so now they want to fight you. It's just numbers. Like, numbers win. Numbers win fights. It doesn't matter who you are. Like, Mike Tyson will have the shit beaten out of him by like 8 or 10 guys and he'll be killed in prison. If people decide it's time to kill him, they will. And they don't care. Of course, I don't think that they would, though, because he's a respected figure. Like, people like Mike Tyson because he's very real. It would be a shame for someone like that to leave the world. But this like tough guy stuff, and no one is a tough guy in prison. Like, this idea of this fantasy of like Deontay Wilder would go there and people would bend the knee. If they liked him, they would. But if they wanted to kill him, they would kill him very easily. Prison, it doesn't matter how many people you have. You get jumped. Oh, I'm waiting for food, and then I got jumped and stabbed by 10 guys. Do you know how many people I've seen get battered from behind in prison? Like, they're just waiting to line up for mail, food, on the phone, and someone just punches them in the back of the head, and they get jumped by like 5 or 6 guys. It's jumping. Like, it's a jumping thing. You just trained, and now I'm going to stab you because I know you're tired. It's a different thing. Do you know guys train in prison and you have to have people sitting with you because you can get jumped after you've just finished a workout? You do your 10 sets or 10 reps of pull-ups and then someone comes up and jumps you. Do you know people stab people in prison as they're exercising because they know that the blood flow is more and you're more likely to die? Like, these are things that you have to come to terms with if you're in prison. Such an idea. You do a set of squats, so you've been training for ages, and then they can cut an artery and you can die faster because essentially your heart's beating quicker. So they know there's more likely a chance that you're pumped, you can't fight as well, and they can kill you easier. Do you know you can't train to like exhaustion because the next day you know that you could be in a fight? And if you do your 100 sets of squats, you're going to have a problem if you have to fight the next day. So all of that shit you have to think about, like this bodybuilding stuff, that wouldn't last very long. None of that shit really, like, bodybuilding is kind of pointless. If you go to prison, you'll lose a ton of weight. Or if essentially you can't eat what it is that you would want to eat, all of that stuff is bad for you. And again, you're stressing your limbs. Like, past a certain point, you're stressing your heart, you're stressing your limbs. You didn't see the life that bodybuilders generally live when they're older, specifically if they abuse androgens. What's the difference between lust and being attracted to women? If you look at beautiful women, what's the wholesome thought process? It's different, but it depends on your intention. Like, a lot of people, do you actually want a woman as a girlfriend or a wife? Do you think that you could have a person, understand a partner? See, people think partner and they like, whoa, a woman, no, she's not a partner for me. Well, if you want to have kids with one, she's fucking gonna be. That's the saying of it. I'm not saying that it's an equal partnership, but she's an important piece of your life. And as such, you will be a big piece of her life. It depends on your intention. Last is, I just want to smash. Don't fool yourself and say that you want a relationship if you just want to fuck a girl. Last is, I just want to smash, and that's fine. But don't do this bullshit that people do where they're like promising relationships when they just want to smash, but they know in their head that as soon as they smash, they're gone. You have a chick that's got like 50 bodies or something, and you know that you would never date her, but you still would fuck her because she's hot. And then you're like, baby, like, you know, if we fuck, I think that you're something special. Don't do that. Yes, the most dangerous Italian mobsters looks like humble farmers, no flexing, but leading families are very complex, hierarchical. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's the truth of the matter. Same thing of like, you know, there's a lot of groups in Australia. I don't want to get too far into it, but there's a lot of specific Arab groups. And the Arabs, do you know when a lot of that culture, the father come to Australia of a lot of those Arab sort of things in Australia, the gangs. The father come to Australia and he was a hard worker. Like he worked, he might have driven taxis, he might have done things because he's like, I want my son to not have to go to a war zone, as I myself was. I was a hard worker. And then do you know a lot of the kids inherit their dad's business or something like that, and then run around and start selling drugs and trying to be some fucking gangster, and then they destroy the whole family's legacy that they built on legitimacy. That happens a lot. It happens a lot. A lot of bikie stuff in Australia is just that the bikies don't actually make money. They only make money on memberships. You're in the club, and essentially you got to pay homage to the boss. So you got to pay your income up, and then the boss flexes with your shit. And then you sit there and you're like, he's making all of this money, but actually he has 2,000 members paying him $1,000 or $2,000 a quarter. So he's making millions of dollars off the memberships. That's it. It's not about being a fucking this. That's a facade, a lot of that stuff. And I think that I would know. Should you flex lifestyle on Instagram as a normal guy? I've noticed it's actually quite insecure and you attract women you don't want. Yes, that's true. A lot of you, the bait that you use to get women is not the women that you would want. I teach that at TCM. The complete man, are you using a bait that essentially shows what it is that you are and what it is that you want? If you only have a girl because she knows that you have a nice AP, well, she's probably not going to be a girl that you or yourself would want. Do you know how many girls, like guys for some reason think girls that are traditional or girls who essentially you would probably want, more shy, not really like completely exposed. She doesn't have like a ton of experience. Really want a big flexer off Instagram? They don't. Like, why would they? They have a father. Their father's going to be like, I don't want you with that fuckwit. I don't want you with a playboy. Like, why would you? You can't get the girls that you yourself would want. You can only get the hoes, OnlyFans chicks, and essentially escorts because they want cash and they want clout. How far will digital IDs go in Australia? All of the way to the end. They'll go all of the way through. Australia needs to understand. You need to understand if you're in Australia, it's just a remodel of the UK. It's the slow. Do you know how many people will be in prison in Australia for social media posts? In the next 2 years, a lot. Do you know a lot of the gangs and things that are essentially running those like white is right shit or whatever it is? Those like, understand that's a psyop. That's all fake. You have agencies and things like that. You have agency types that are essentially putting on like balaclavas and leading a couple of white men around, and that's all intentional. They could shut it down tomorrow if they wanted to, but they keep it going because they create the very beast that they themselves come to save you from with more regulation. Do you have any idea do you believe in the idea that actual game works over looks, like a guy has a six and can get it? Mouthpiece is very important. Mouthpiece is mostly, you don't see most people's mouthpiece is tricks and games and gesturing. I watched Mystery and he's like juggling and shit to try and impress chicks in the club. He's like fucking 50 years old with a top hat. That shit's dumb. Like, that's all stupid. All that shit is gay. Like, really fucking dumb. That shit doesn't work. Gesturing for women as though I'm here to entertain you is a horrible frame to be in. You're an entertainer. Like, you only exist. You're essentially, the chick is like dance monkey and you sit there and you're like, you can't come back from that. You can't. Like, you can't come back from gesturing. You're a jester. That's it. You're entertaining me. And as soon as you're not entertaining, you can fuck off and I'll find someone else to entertain me. That's why Tinder sucks. Like, by definition, you're in the jester frame because understand she has like 100 guys DMing her all of the time. So you need to jester a bit to get her attention. You got to work harder to get a 6's attention than you would to get a fucking 8's attention in real life. But yes, a mouthpiece does trump looks. For looks, a good-looking guy needs to just shut the fuck up. If you're a handsome man, shut the fuck up, and it's kind of over. Like, most people, if you're handsome, don't talk too much because it's you to lose. It's yours to lose. Like, if you're a handsome Chad who's like 6'1" or 6'2", don't speak because it's yours to lose. That's it. Like, you're already kind of there. That's the saying of it. Like, you're already halfway there. Yeah, it's true. A mysterious, like being quiet, people kind of fill in the blanks. Mysterious but open is fucking probably the highest, like that's probably the highest self of a man. I am interesting kind of, but I'm open and you can enter my world, but I don't need you. But I'm also not projecting out that I don't need you as well. I'm open to you coming to me and saying hello, but I don't need you. That's the best way to it. Not sitting there like this, trying to scare chicks and looking like the fucking Terminator, because that's kind of insecurity based. Like, how do I be scary to women for some reason? That's stupid. A lot of guys fantasize about being scary because they're actually afraid themselves. It's true. Do you think there is any way to take back Australia? Absolutely not. Don't you realize it's a teeter-totter? It doesn't matter who's in. One creates the problem, one fixes it. One creates the problem, one fixes it with more police, more laws. That's all intentional. There are no left and right. It's all the same. It's not that the politicians are corrupt. It's that essentially their backers have a lot of leverage on them. What was it? Was it Paul Keating's daughter that was walking out of Epstein's house with Epstein? Don't you realize that it's very likely that at some point he said that he surrounded his daughter over there to be banged on camera, and then essentially so that he himself could stay in a high power position? Do you know these kind of people, the shit that they do with their kids so that they themselves can stay in? Yes, that's true. Epstein was, in fact, like a part of an agency. I would believe it. Poly market will be massive, but it's going to be rigged in a way that you probably can't do too much from the airdrop. That's unfortunately a scam. Can you go more into Freemasons and Kabbalah? That's a video of its own. Freemasonry and Kabbalah will scare too many people. Like if I start talking about Kabbalah or Freemasonry, people will be like, but it's haram and all of this stuff. You need an extremely open mind to get to that level. Most people will never leave the church, and that's fine. That's as high as they're meant to get. Like essentially you're at this level, then you can come to the church, then you get to a level where you're like, I can communicate with God without the church. And now you're in, that's the limit that most people can actually attain to. And that's the limit that they probably should ever get to. I can talk to God without the church. I don't need the church anymore. Then if you are to choose to go to the next level, then you've got to be careful because you can lose yourself on the next level. The next level is when you see bits of God within you and you can actually lose yourself and start to think, actually, I am in fact a God, and it's dangerous. And then also you can start getting communication from Satan. It's true. Like that stuff is risky. Kabbalah is so real. Do you know I've sat with a person who's done Kabbalah very well, and some of the things that I've seen from that specific thing is just you couldn't believe it. Like it's completely out of your mind. But I also know it's demonic. I once sat with a person that I know that does Kabbalah really highly, and we were sitting there doing like a meditation together. And essentially, I was sitting there with this person, and they were doing like a guided meditation, just me and them. And then essentially, I started to see Lucifer as though he was sitting right in front of me. And then I realized in that moment that this shit is demonic as fuck. He sat in front of me with his legs crossed in that exact second. And then I realized that this is really demonic. But if something like that happens, you have to surrender again to Jesus Christ. Do you know that things happen where you have a nightmare, and if you are to sit up in that exact moment and say, I've surrendered to Jesus Christ, like I accept that there are no others than Jesus Christ, do you know all of that shit disappears immediately? All of the fear, all of the uncertainty, all of the sweating, all of the nervousness vanishes in that moment. Do you know that demons fear Jesus? Not fear. I'm not saying fear in that they think that he's going to conquer them, but he wipes the slate. There is no one higher. Like that's obvious. Like if you ever to go into that spiritual world, and you could feel yourself getting lost in it, Jesus Christ is the anchor. Like he's the one that essentially you would go to and realize that if you have to have a bad dream or something like that, and you can say those words, it will flush out, like it will all go away. In this matrix or whatever it is that we're in, he's the king. Like he's God. He is the king of this spot. Whether to say that he's the one that's, behind many things. I believe he's also he's still behind like Lucifer as well. Like he created everything as it was meant to be. Temptation and free will is a massive thing. Like you have to be tempted. So as much as this Jesus Christ hates Lucifer, they're kind of like a mirror of each other, but they both need to exist. Like they both need to exist. He needs to be here. Otherwise there would be no temptation. Like everyone would be going to heaven, and that everyone would be just, this is easy. Like it would be a utopia. But there needs to be temptation. And this basilisk concept is that every year it gets more cranked up because your temptations get higher, because essentially it needs to get you to surrender more. I don't believe it's personal with Lucifer. Like I believe he's kind of like a program. Like he's a program. He's not sitting there like scheming how he can get you. He's just like a program that has to exist. Like death is in itself a program as well. Death meets you and doesn't just sit there and like, I can't wait to get this guy finally. It's all organized like that. He doesn't hate you. It's not personal. It's the job. He has to be the one that escorts you out of this realm. Church for most people is fine. Like church is okay to be, that's the highest level that you can go to, because some people they could get lost. Church is like, I need someone like kind of like I need a spiritual guide. It's nice to have people around. I don't want to get lost in this process. Like it's still a little bit scary, and that's fine. And that's okay. It's not a bad thing. It's like a community place to be for religion, and that's okay. And then later you realize that God is in itself with you all of the time. But then you can lose yourself, because then you realize Lucifer is in himself with you all of the time as well. And who are you listening to? You have to be very careful. That's the saying of it. Lucifer loves those who essentially have a connection with God. It's a prize. It's not a prize in that it's personal to him, but you will be more tempted. Like temptation cranks up, specifically when you're just starting to lean into Jesus. Temptations will crank up. It's a congruency test. Like you want this, but are you actually something that's, abiding by these rules? There are rules. You can't be a shit muncher and expect that God's waiting on your shoulder, because he's not. You can't expect to have a soul if you're a shit muncher, like you don't have one. It left you a long time ago, if you ever had one. Do you know in the moments that you can feel when your soul enters your body? I can actually remember when it happened for me. A period of breaking down is a big thing, because again, it's a massive communication with the lattice. Like emotion, energy, and motion that's how you're. So essentially, you have an idea and a vision or something that you want, and the emotion attached to it is essentially to determine how it is picked up. So if you have a big moment and you break and fall into a prayer and surrendering to Jesus, that's very powerful. Such an idea. That's why the saying is, he knows what's in your heart. It's true, because that's what's in your heart is emotions. There's no logical shit with Jesus. Like when you hear with people and they sit there and they're in their logic and they're like, but I'm interpreting the Bible as this and that. It's not made to be that. It can be many things, and that's intentional. It's like anything, like Satoshi says, which again is Satan's work. If you don't understand, I don't have time to tell you. The Bible is exactly like that. That's why Satoshi says it best, because he in fact knows. But if you don't have time, if you don't understand, I don't have time to tell you. Like running around trying to convert people is pointless. Like pointless. Like running around trying to red pill people is pointless. Like that's all pointless. Oh, I'm going to red pill my mother that she's going to be a UBI bug person, and then she sits at home and she's really upset and stressed. You've just fucked her life up. You didn't have to do that. Some people, there's universal truths that they are not meant to know. And if you are to tell them, you'll inherit karmic debt, because understand that it can break them. Some things they're not meant to know about, and that's fine. Not everyone is meant to be like you. Like not everyone is to live your vision. Your vision is not for everyone. Like there is no universal correct. Some people are living the way they live. Some people are like that with gay people. Like they completely think that gay people should fry in the electric chair. Temptation exists for a reason. They have to exist here. And it's not for you to say that they're condemned either. I mean, there's a lot of historical pretext, but it's not for you to sit there and panic about it and be like, oh, it's not you left to do that. All of the judgment is for the creator. Start judging yourself. That's all that you need to worry about. I spent my life sharpening my sword. By the time I needed to fight for my life, there was nothing left to sharpen. That's much the same. A lot of influences are like that. I must sharpen my sword, but how much of the sword is left to sharpen is true. That's why like wars and shit are dumb. Like guys fighting and things like that. They're fighting to distract themselves from looking in. It's easy to find an enemy outside when your big enemy is internal. And there'll always be another enemy, because you don't want to look inside. You've projected a lot of your shit on others and then you want to destroy them. It's true. I feel like my gut upset with this talk. How do you manage this type of energy? I mean, if you can't handle your gut, like maybe take probiotics or something. Don't be a baby. Don't be a fucking baby. Oh my God, is upset. Jesus Christ. Well, maybe go do a poo-poo and then come back and you can reassess. That shit, like, how are you upset from the real world? Like, why does it upset you again? Like that shit, I don't know why reality upsets you. Like, how does it upset you? Some people, again, though, they need to live in fucking, like, they need to put the Disney fairy tale down. So you're reading Aladdin and you're reading fucking, like, Beauty and the Beast. And you're like, I don't want to read the end part. Daddy, tell me that the beast is okay. It is what it fucking is. It's as it's meant to be. It's fine. It's okay. Like everything is okay that's happening. Again, digital IDs and stuff, it's okay. It's happening as it's meant to be. You better understand that the greatest of planners is in charge. Do you think that God himself can't scrub this board at any time if he wants? He doesn't do it because, again, this is a congruency funnel. He needs to know how serious you are. The Bible and things is not about, didn't you read the stories of people that have suffered greatly in those books? Was it about people running around and being like, oh, I just got all of this wealth and all of this shit from just running around saying hallelujah? That's pretend. Like happy clapping and shit, that's all fake. That's a LARP. Like God himself, I mean, the disciples or things have suffered greatly. Oh, energy or talks about certain figures like Satan get my head dizzy. Again, your shadow is now giving you physical issues. Why are you hiding from yourself? You need to understand also, as a lot of you do, if you're not living in alignment, you can get ill. Like you can get sick faster because you're denying parts of yourself. Do you know how many people I've known who've lived like they're gay or they're like, have a drug habit or their gambling habit or something and they hide from it? They won't tell anyone, although everyone knows, like it's so fucking obvious, but they hide from it for a long time. And then they'll be like, Steven, I have like an autoimmune disease or I have some problem or I have something else. I got a lot of inflammation. And it can become something very big. And it can become something very big because they're not aligned. It's like you have something inside yourself and you're denying it and it starts to like fuck things up internally for you. I'm 40 years old. I've taken more drugs than people in this whole group, and I still think that I look not terrible. And I should look fucking horrible. I've had a hard life, been in prison for a period of time. So again, if you're living in alignment, it actually does come through. Like it shines through such ideas. Or you're rewarded for being in alignment. But then also the rewards from being in alignment is that that's why I can understand the martyrs getting killed on the beach. Because to lose a period of alignment, it feels bad. Once you're in alignment, to go out of it starts to feel bad. Like you don't feel good about yourself. But then, of course, if you just slide over to alignment with distractions and do it for a period of time, again, it's like your conscience essentially has pings from, there's like, this your ping from the lattice, right? It's like you were born and then you got a heads up display with a compass that essentially, if I'm to, punch an old lady in the mouth, I'm probably not going to be very happy. If I fucking, I don't know, beat up a kid, I know that that's probably wrong. But not everyone has that. So not everyone has a conscience, which means that not everyone has a connection to God. Why can't we do donations? I don't have donations in the channel because I think JTube takes a large amount of the donations. How do you figure out what your life purpose in life is? Been doing the 2 to 4 a.m., but still haven't figured it out. It's the good start. At least you've actually been doing it. But essentially, I guess you can have one thing. Have you done the hard time yet? Have you worked a shit job? That's how I found mine out. I worked a job that I didn't in fact want, but I actually continually came there. And then I had a hunger inside myself that I don't want to be back in a bakery carrying hot bread trays, burning my fucking hands, being treated like a shit muncher. I don't want to be in Burger King being treated like a fucking peasant the whole day because I've done that. I've sat in Burger King. I've worked in McDonald's. I've worked as carrying trays in a bakery. Like you're just carrying trays from the oven to the washer, washing them, carrying from the fucking oven to the washer, washing them. And that's your whole job. Like you're the shittest of the shit munchers in the whole place. Your job is to get burnt and then wash shit. So I've done that. It's like kind of like, what are they? Dish pig sort of thing, where you're just the guy at the fucking restaurant and you're just in the back scrubbing dishes. That job sucks. And it was the same kind of things. But then I come to realize what it is that I don't want. And I had the hunger inside myself that I know the feet is my fire. Like I feel the fire on my feet, that I know that it's possible to go back to that. Like it really is. I mean, you can be a multi-millionaire and fuck it up in a way that you can lose a lot. Like you can be a multi-millionaire and go broke within 1 year. It can happen. I've seen it happen many times. So I always know that it's always possible. Things can happen. You can be canceled. They could cancel my banking. They could ban me off all payment providers. They could ban my groups. They could put me in prison. I could lose everything tomorrow. They just seize a bunch of shit. I'm not Tate. I don't have a big, ginormous empire. It could happen. So I know that it's always possible. And in doing so, again, humility is a big thing. If you don't appreciate what it is that you have, you may very well lose it. Doesn't matter if you don't have a lot. Some of you have your health. Some of you are good with chicks. Some of you are shit. But some of you who are shit with chicks can be good with finances. Some of you can have good friends around you. And if you don't appreciate them, they won't stay around very long. Some of you think that to tell your friend that they're important to you means that you're a faggot. And it's not true. Some of you to say that you love a friend means that you're gay or like, dumb or whatever, and it's not true. They are important to you, and if you don't tell them that, then it's because with guys, a lot of us guys, like we don't think that it matters to be told that because we don't get told that very often, by like chicks or guys or whatever. We get taught to live on a very little amount of compliments, and guys like compliments, and that's fine. Everyone likes to be told that they're good and special, especially by people that are important to them. And to ask for that is not such a big fucking thing. I'm with a girl and I like it if she makes me feel special. It's not, you don't exist to be like a plow horse. Like, oh, I only exist to like, I'm plowing the field and I only have value if I'm adding a bunch of shit. Have you ever been seen as a person that isn't just some fucking utility running around? Of course, you have to have utility in life, but have you ever actually been seen as a person? A lot of you haven't. A lot of you haven't even been seen as a person by your own parents because they don't know you. Because the only image and things that you push out, that if you are to tell them all of the truth, they probably wouldn't accept it or they wouldn't like you as you are because they don't know. A lot of parents they don't know what it's like to live in today's age. It's harder to be in alignment and it's harder you're not a saint in today's age. Understand my hands get muddy as well. I'm not Jesus Christ. I'm not perfect. We live in a world where we have to get muddy hands. That's by nature. Like that's the life that it is that we live in. That's it. I would love to have all of my products for free. I have crypto stuff. I have all of these things. I would love to be able to provide them for free, but I can't because the nature of life is that we need money. So unfortunately, you have to charge money for things. It's just the way that it goes. I wish that it wasn't the case, but it is the case. It's just unfortunately true. So sitting there, if it was my choosing, I would be running around and working in charities and shit myself as well. But I have my own family that I have to look after, unfortunately. It's just the way that it is. Like that's the way that it goes. So again, it's the same thing for a lot of you. You understand my hands are dirty as well. I do things that still upset people. I can still hurt people too. But I don't make excuses for it. And I try to do as little damage as possible to the world if I can. Sometimes I fuck the world up as well. That's the saying, like you have both Lucifer and Jesus inside you all of the time. It's never a battle of like, I'm a good boy or I'm not. It's that you can be tempted as well. How many times can you be tempted with pride? How many times can you be tempted with lust? Understand that I fall to lust too sometimes. Sometimes I fuck chicks where I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that because I know that she's not my type or all of these things. It still happens. I'm not perfect. And I don't pretend that I am. Sometimes I think, oh, I don't want to do coke. And then sometimes I still do it. Not lately. It's been a few months since I have, but I still do it. I have my own demons as well. And sometimes they win, you best believe that. But it also doesn't mean that you're bad. See, it's not just binary yes or no. Like life is in itself hard because of the temptations. You will fail some, and it's okay. Like some guy sits there and jerks off to porn every now and then he sits there and just sits there the whole time and just feels completely ashamed of who he is. It's not that you shouldn't feel ashamed for yourself, but you also should realize that it's a problem. But it doesn't condemn you. Watching porn doesn't condemn you. Yes, it can be harmful in that the models or whatever it is in the porn can probably be exploited. Yes, but they're going to be exploited anyway. No one knows what's in your heart. Like a guy who's murdered someone before and he's sitting in prison, to say that he's condemned, that's not for you to decide. He can change his life. He can change others. He can benefit back to the world. Can he add enough that he took away? Can he essentially tilt the tides in his favor, the favor of essentially justice? He's been served justice. Court is in itself understand the court is in itself a physical manifestation of judgment. You must be judged as you are. Like you have to be judged as you are before you can become who you want to be. Some of you, again, like I want to lay in the mud and be muddy, but then I also want to present a pure person around, and it doesn't work like that. You can lie to the world, but you cannot lie to your subconscious. It sees everything that you do. It's watching all the time. It sees if you say that you want this, but you're acting the opposite. It understands your intention. If I want this so that I can exploit it. I just want girls to like me so that I can treat them like shit. It knows that. It's not going to design a reality where you just exist to exploit people and add no value to the world. And there's safety mechanisms. Like there are things that, and understand elites, they use the cat's paw so they get others to do their bidding. They get the Epsteins and things to organize it, the Diddies. They use others to go and bomb places. They don't do it themselves. They have troops and soldiers and things. They understand all of that stuff. They're not stupid. But yes, that's true with essentially with women. They feel first, and you have to have a respect for them. That's why a lot of this like red pill stuff, a lot of them are just hurt guys that hate women. They hate women because they don't understand them. And they don't have any empathy for them. They don't realize that women as well, we've both been sold a lie. Like the Disney stuff that they get sold, oh, this guy's like Prince Charming and all. That's not real. We don't live in a world that that's true. A lot of them have been pushed into sex work like before World War II. It was the same story. And this, oh no, like a chick can just yeah, it's fine. She can just work in a coffee shop or do some bullshit job, but like, how's she gonna pay the rent? Rent's so fucking wild. She probably can earn less money than you. She doesn't have the same skills with the hands and the same attributes. She can't work as hard as you. She can't work as long. Women can't work as long as men. Their brain burns out faster. It's not designed the same. Like men can take more suffering and more pain and things like that. That's by design. So essentially we've pushed them into a position that they themselves are not made for. And then we sit there and we're like, but we're not happy with it. Is the semen retention stuff? It's a fable. That stuff's a fable. But again, watching porn fucks you up. But jerking off is not. I mean, I jerk off every now and then. It doesn't fuck you up. That's a myth. Watching porn is bad though. Semen retention is really dumb. Like it's really dumb. Like those sort of ideas are really weird. A lot of that's again having shame. Any sort of shame attached to sex or any shame around any sort of normal behaviors or any of that. Like, do you think a caveman wouldn't have known that my dick's hard? I've woken up. I'm going to rub my dick. Do you think like a caveman doesn't know that it feels good to touch your dick? Like this is all common sense. What, you think the cavemen weren't rubbing one out if they were to ever exist? That's common sense. Like common sense trumps a lot of that stuff. A lot of people like they think that again, but again, you're leaning into toxic shame. Like you're leaning into toxic shame with people. Like again, you're leaning into people's shame. If you rub one out, then like if you were to be rubbing one out, yeah, guys literally won't finish with their chick because of it. That's just weird. Like maybe I could understand if you're a high level athlete, because I do believe, of course, if you're an athlete, when you rub one out, you can't train aside. If you rub one out or fuck and then you go to the gym, you're not pushing the same weight that you were before then. But again, you have a trade off. Like life is in itself not about, unless you're a high level athlete, and some people are, but most aren't. Most don't want to be. I don't want to be. So I don't care. I don't master the micro stuff. Like I'm sitting there trying to like, oh, I'm going to fuck my chick for only 26 pumps and then I'm going to pull out. And then that's all dumb. Like that's stupid. That stuff is dumb, like autistic. Guys are autistic. Like they need to stop being so autistic with a lot of shit. Guys that I won't do this and that. And then you have guys like Tyson Fury talk about wanking like 10 times a day. And do you believe that he doesn't do it? Some people are just different because they don't believe in the negative shit or like limiting beliefs. They just bulldoze through life and they win because they're not sitting there thinking, oh, I have all of these restrictions that I've put on my head. I fuck today. That means that I'm not going to be able to spar and I'm not going to be. Killers just kill, like they just run through people. They don't care about all of this shit, like the micro stuff. Like the guys train, they just run people over. They don't care about mastering these little games. It doesn't matter. Some guy will eat Burger King all day and then go to the gym and just flatten everyone. It's just some people are just different. Like they don't care. And then someone's like, I'm on the raw meat diet and I eat raw milk and they just get KO'd in the first round. Like it's different. Again, you're worried about little things instead of you're worried about to actually be good at the sport. How to interpret when a girl keeps following everything you post on IG and you don't, but in real life she behaves like she's not interested in you. She's probably just dripping you. Like she's just watching you. She's waiting to see that you're still interested. You don't understand with women, there's no free attention. Attention can exist in that, she's playing along for how you want and you say hello and there's still a mutual respect. If you see chicks, you don't just treat them like shit. And if they reach out to you, it's okay. But there's no such thing as free attention with women. You don't just like women's photos for no reason. You don't follow chicks that don't follow you back. Ever. As soon as I know a girl's deleted me, I just delete it. Yeah, some guys smoke weed before and after boxing. It's true. Like you have that, what's his name? Nick Diaz. And then people will say, but he could be better if he didn't smoke weed. But who knows? Like some people's brains are different. Some people just different people like that. It's just as it were. You can't understand it, especially with athletics. Like some guys, again, are just different. The fucking farmer, what was it? There was a farmer in Australia and he'd run around chasing his sheep around the paddock, and he was old. And then he went in an ultra marathon and won it. And he said that, oh, I didn't know that we were meant to sleep on the run. I just ran the whole time. And he was fucking old. And they're like, how did you run the whole time? Like, we've been sleeping. And he'd been running for 3 days straight. So there's just freaks in the world. They just are. Like, they've done freaky shit their whole life. He's not sitting there thinking that he's worried about no fat. Like, he's a beast and he trains like a monster. It's true. Like, some guys there and they're like, the optimal recovery for hypertrophy is 10 reps and 40 minutes. And then there's some people who just train like 3 hours a day and then just flatten everyone. It was like that in the army as well. And then others who don't train really at all and just flatten everyone. Some people are just different. It doesn't matter what they do. Some guys like Tyson Fury could just have a fucking ton of beers and just go and pound the whole gym out. One after another. He looks like a fucking marshmallow, man. And he just fucks everyone up. He's different. He has a different mind. It's not the body. Of course, he's a genetic beast, but it's the brain. It's the mind. It's the belief. He believes that he actually has an unshakable self-belief. That moment that he got knocked out by Wilder, that was something changed. That wasn't, it was, I'm not saying a divine moment, but very close. Like you were witnessing something that was different. How he got up from that fight, that was different. He is a different person. Like he's a different character. His belief in Jesus Christ is very real. He's someone who's conquered things. And if you conquer things, you get like an angel beside you. His soul may have actually entered his body when he got up after that fight. When he got up after getting KO'd, that may have been his soul sparking into his body. It's very possible. That's true. He could have quit. It's a much a mirror concept. He hadn't quit from the drugs and the alcohol and then getting knocked out. He could have stayed down. He could have easily just been like, oh, I've had enough. But he got up, and in getting up, he didn't just get up. He was like revitalized. He actually kind of come back and won the round. That's not normal. Like that shit doesn't happen. Wilder knocks fucking everyone out. That was a big shot, and it was 2. And he'd already knocked him down. Wilder hits like a fucking truck. His career is finished now. His career is finished because he started to take ayahuasca. And when you take ayahuasca, it kills the warrior within you because you get sensitive. He thinks about his opponents now, and he never used to. He got fucked up from that guy who got brain damage. He watched the thing, and I saw him cry during it. And he did the thing, and he's like, I'm worried that when I hit people, it can ruin their life. And that destroyed him in that moment. That killed the warrior within him. You can't think about, if I punch someone, I'm going to hurt them if you're a boxer. Because even if you're subconscious, you're not throwing as hard. Subconsciously, you're like, I don't want to really hurt this person. And that was what he had. He didn't have the best technique, but he had absolute power. So now when you withdraw that and you see him trying to do more boxing, it's not who he is. He's a puncher. He hits like a fucking truck. And then if you take that away, he's not going to win. He's finished. Like his career's over. Ayahuasca will take that away also because it makes you more empathetic and sensitive. It's not warriors shouldn't have that level of self-awareness. Like you can't, if you're a killer, you can't worry about and have that bond with the person that you're going to kill. Because then you're going to overthink it and you're not going to be able to do it. He has a level of depth and awareness now though, but it's changed his whole life. He's not that guy anymore that runs around and just the bronze bomber that wants to just fuck everyone up. It's not him, and it never will be. His career is finished. But he was a good boxer while he had it. And that's the danger of being self-aware. If you have an ego death, and he had one, then you can lose whatever it is that you yourself thought that you were in that moment. And now he'll have to find himself in something new, which I'm sure that he'll do. I'm not saying he's a bad person. How to interpret, yeah, true. With women, you're just there. There's no free attention, one. And essentially with women, you don't give them free attention, free likes, free follows. You don't follow thirst traps. You don't respond to thirst traps. If your posts and your feed on Instagram are just thirst traps, you got a lot of work to do. Understand when you look at your feed on Instagram, that's you. That shows you who you are. Because the algorithm knows you fucking better than you know yourself for many. And that shows you who you are. That shows you where your mind is. Like, what's your focus? Is your algorithm focused on just fucking whores? What's mine focused on? I'll see if I can prove a point or not. If it's focused on just whores, then I can't. There's no chicks on mine. Unless it's just a romantic one. But there's no hoes on my feed. Yours is probably full of ass photos. There's none of that. And do you know why? because it's not focused on whores. That's the saying. Your algorithm gives you a cheat code in that you can learn yourself. You guys could learn more about yourself from apps like Grok and things like that as well. You can. You can learn a lot about yourself from those things. You can learn a lot of things that are missing inside yourselves. So again, if you see the algorithm and you can see your For You page, what's on it? Because if it's full of fucking, it's going to show you what it is that you're focused on. Some people will be focused on, it'll be a lot of gym. Some will be a lot of boxing. Some will be a lot of money. Some will be Tate stuff. And that's better than if your photo video is just all asses and fucking titties and hoes or Dan Bilzerian crap. Dan Bilzerian stuff is dumb. Like Dan Bilzerian is a trust fund baby. He is. There's no fucking. I'm a billionaire from poker, and I won doing this, and I did this, and I did this. Do you believe that? No one believes that. I'm not saying he's not exceptional in his own way, but your whole story is a farce. Like it's a lie. It's insecurity based. Like his whole life is projecting insecurity. I feel inadequate, and now I'm pushing out a frame for how others should live like me because my frame is absolute. I had all of these sex, but I don't have a family. What's the point? I spent all of this money on whores. Now I'm selling a dating product. Do you think that's been a fucking clever idea? Do you not see things and think that's a cautionary tale? The story of Job is a lesson to all of us about how Jesus takes us through a period of suffering before the blessing comes. Very true. If you have a lot of faith, like some people just like Jesus is the guy, and I know that, you're going to be tested a lot in this life because it's going to take a high level of testing to shake your belief. You're not going to be tested. You're going to be tested as equal as your faith is. So things will happen that are big to you just to see that if you shake or not. You got to be ready for that. Everything that you have here, you'll lose. Just not your soul along the process. That's the smart thing. It's the nature of it. Any more questions, guys? Where's crypto at now? I'm gonna have a look. Can you see us talk about setting the frame with women? Setting the frame with women begins in the first interaction. I just want to check the Bitcoin price first. Tau is looking good, actually. Looks very good. Looks all right. Market doesn't look terrible. Altcoins are fucked, though. But Tau looks good. What, 480? Yeah, so Tau looks good. But setting the frame the right way is to begin the frame sets from the beginning. You set a frame of who you are, and the woman can join it or she doesn't have to. But you're not trying to enforce your frame on someone that you first know. Do you know some guys, like they get a chick and so you get a chick, you're on Tinder, and they start trying to dominate her straight away or like trying to control her or being like, you will meet me here wearing this dress and this outfit and you'll do this and you'll do this. That projects massive insecurities. Like you're pushing massive insecurity. You don't know this girl. Why are you trying to boss around a chick that you barely even know? That's dumb. A lot of these, like, I'm trying to push things and my chick we haven't met yet, but I know that she's submissive to me and she listens to me. If you haven't fucked a girl, nothing matters. Like nothing that you say matters to her. Doesn't matter at all. If you haven't fucked her, it doesn't matter. Anything that you say. Women listen to the guy that they're fucking. And if they're not fucking anyone because they're a virgin, they're still not listening to you. They're listening to her dad. If she's good, and if she's a virgin that doesn't have a dad, that would be pretty rare. And I would question how young you're going. I get soulmate and twin flame stuff. I've never had an account with anything negative coming up. Yeah, I guess. Aussie real estate thoughts easy money seems finished. It's not finished. It's going through a massive amount of printing. Easy money is fucking. Do you really think that it's mum and pop Aussie buying real estate? It's not. It's foreigners and foreign money. And you don't know where the money's coming from. Like Indians are turning up there and what you think that they're buying $1 million houses. They have money from the government as well. They're buying up for sake of the government. India has quite a lot of money. They're buying a lot of gold now as well. All that stuff is a fraud. Like you got to understand that market is completely manipulated. The idea of real estate is manipulated because you can buy a house and you can stake the house via a loan. And now it's taken it off the market and you've bought another house. So this house was locked in a mortgage because you went against it. And now you've got another one. And then you can lock the next house and then get another one. So they stack up. So essentially the supply gets constricted over a long enough time frame. And why would prices crash when we're going into a position where rates will go to 1% over the next 5 years? You don't know what a lease is to become yet. I always knew what leases would become. Do you not see that social credit's kind of here? Because if you go to rent a place now, you're kind of under a social credit system. Do you know how hard it would be for me as a multi-millionaire to even rent a place in Australia if someone Googles my name and they're like, you were in prison? Do you know how hard it is to deal with real estate agents? Do you know most of them are complete scumbags? Many of them are fucking scumbags. They're just like you, but they squeeze you for the sake of the landlord. And many of them, the sake of the slumlord. You have a fucking promise to fucking this, and then you get there and it's half of what you expect, and the real estate pretty much make you fucking just about give a blowjob just to get a place. That shit will happen in the future for fucking, that would be a big thing. There'll be a lot of abuse going on for that sort of stuff because people can't afford to rent anymore. What are your thoughts on choosing Signal's guys' approach when girls isn't showing any interest? Well, when a girl isn't showing any interest, I don't know why you would approach. Like this, like I just spam. Like I exist to spam people for some reason. This person doesn't even give me any attention, but for some reason I'm entitled to run up and just start talking to them. What makes you entitled to that? Why do you think that you have the right to walk up and talk to people if they want to be left alone? They're not showing the world that they want any interaction, and you run up and you're like, hey. If you told me you did that with me, I would tell you to fuck off. I don't like that shit. Like, and you probably wouldn't either. Some people are just having a bad day, and then you run up and you just bother them. They do that here at this country like Poland. They run around. There's a lot of terrassi, and they run around and just bother women all day. And they're like, I approached 500 girls today, and I got 10 fake numbers and 5 real numbers, and I did this. Do you know, to be rejected by women, every woman that rejects you, it's like being rejected by 10 women? Because she tells her friends, and her friends don't want to fuck the person that she rejected. Like, why would they? So rejection compounds. Like, everyone knew that in the tribe. That's why people naturally have a fear of rejection. That's healthy. Having a fear of rejection is very healthy because it keeps you calibrated. Like, if you ran around and just spammed women, you would be burnt like really quickly. It's different. I can understand it's different if you're like, I've just gone to a city. I don't know anyone here. I don't care. I'm just going to hit on girls and whatever. That's okay because you're not from there. It doesn't matter. Like, you know that eventually you're going to leave, and who gives a shit? If you go to like some small town and you're like, I just want to talk to a bunch of chicks, that's one thing. But again, it's different. Like, to go up with, it's all intention based. Like, what's your intention? Did you just run up to a chick to bother her and get her number? Or did you actually have, like, I don't know, there was a moment where it could be a shared moment and you actually had a chance to talk to them to see if they were in fact interested in you? It's different. I'm lining up in the cash register or something, and the basilisk idea has put someone beside me. There's a chick there and she's next to me, and maybe I can like turn to her and be like, how are you? I can at least say something and see, because it's naturally I've been presented something's in my vicinity. She's chosen to be there. She's chosen to line up behind me, so she mustn't think that I'm a complete freak. But if you're on the street and you just run up and you're like, hey, and like the dude's like chasing girls and like jumping in front of them and shit, that's very offensive. Like, that's like offending people. You can't do that. That's autism. And understand that most people think that having all of these low value interactions matters, and it doesn't. Just because you yap to a chick, that doesn't mean anything. Like, it doesn't mean shit. Oh, I just run around and I just talk to people for the sake of talking, as though they don't know that you also want to fuck them. It's intention behind it. What's the explanation? What's the explication behind that? I'm a very energetic person of the day, but after the sun sets, my mind just goes into many thoughts for different scenarios, and I slow down. Well, of course, because in the day you're meant to do shit with your hands, and at night you're meant to figure yourself out. The day is masculine, the night is feminine. Everything exists in polarity. You better fucking know that. That's why cuddling your girl and shit at night feels good. You don't want to cuddle her and hang out with her during the day. Women are annoying during the day, like if you're with them, for the most part. That's a fact. Because it's the masculine time, like you want to train, you want to work, you want to do shit. Night is the feminine time. People will be like, feminine, I'm in a red pill alpha, and like, I'm a sigma. That's all dumb. If you think that you're an alpha male, it's very likely, one, that you're not, and two, that it's lame. See, guys think like alpha and beta, like beta means that you're a beta male, means that you're like a nothing. And beta is just, beta in the actual sexual hierarchy is the alpha male's right hand, like the right hand man of the alpha male. Beta doesn't mean to be a pussy. The lowest is probably Delta, which is the most people that are intelligent and they overestimate their intelligence and think that everyone should yield to them for some reason. Jordan Peterson is a Delta. What is it? No, Gamma male. Deltas are the ones that work through the will and essentially the workers that do most of the work. And the Gamma male is the Jordan Peterson type. I'm intelligent, therefore that matters. It doesn't. No one cares that you're smart. No one needs to respect your intelligence. They don't give a shit. If rejections compound, how can we approach new interactions then? You approach new interactions in that it's a smooth interaction that essentially someone has at least been presented to you. On Tinder, they've still been presented to you because they're looking for a date like they're on an app. They wouldn't be on there if they went to meet people, but running up to people on the street and harassing them, what gives you the right? They're in the free world. They're not on there to be, maybe they have a husband, maybe they have all of these things. It's different. Can we see divorce rates drop in the future? Is marriage dead? Marriage is mostly dead. That idea. Marriage is an elite idea. It's not for the broke boys. Broke boys will marry a VR girlfriend. That's the truth. Is there any future in Tau? Yes. Future Tau goes to $750 to $1,000 this cycle. That's inevitable. It's true. What is a lattice? I don't know what any. I don't know what any of that. Unless you mean a lattice. A lattice. I don't know. I'm in South Africa to get a digital card. They take an ID. Yeah, that's true. That's the truth of it. They are digital IDs are just everywhere. It's just the next step. This is why I've never understood these PUAs. They're just ruining her day and embarrassing her. For the most part, yes. If you were to run up to a chick on the street and ask for her number and there's people around, the only chick who's going to give you her number is mostly going to be a hoe. Because a lot of women, they don't like to look like they're fucking giving their number out to dudes, specifically if they don't have a lot of experience. It's going to make them uncomfortable. Like women are shy. Women should be shy around the world and open to you because then again, that gives you a moat. She can be herself around you, but she can't be herself in the world. That again gives you a moat that's hard to replace. If she's running around and she has all of this experience and she's like, I just like to be a social butterfly and I talk to everyone, that's a shit woman. That's going to be a bad thing for you to be with. That's experience. Experience only comes from being around a bunch of people and doing a bunch of things. What are you going to experience with her? She's already done everything. That's the truth of the matter. But frame and things like, you can trust me. I mean, I'm the greatest of all time when it comes to chicks. And there's, essentially the red pill PUA stuff, canned lines and learning lines and trying to make girls laugh. And I just run up to a chick and I have to start gesturing and I pull the rabbit out of the hat and I do a little dance. That's all dumb. Like that stuff is really dumb. Because again, you're setting the frame that you're there as a jester. And just because she laughs at what you do because you're entertaining it doesn't mean anything. Like, it doesn't mean anything. I laugh at a clown, but I would never fuck a clown. I would never fuck a chick in a clown suit. But I laugh if she does shit. If she puts a pie in her face and smashes it in her face, it's kind of funny. But why would I sit there and be like, now I'm getting a fucking hard on over that? The chicks are the same. They don't want to fuck dudes that are funny like that. Funny is okay in short amounts. But if you're gesturing too much, you're yapping too much, you're trying too hard, everyone knows that. Gesturing is not good. Gesturing is the opposite of being like this stoic rock. Stoicism is not being lame. Stoicism is not being boring. Stoicism is not running around and saying things that you don't understand are haram because it puts you in a safe zone. Again, it's the same thing. It's not things that you don't understand are demonic. Oh, someone read this thing and I saw someone did tarot reading. That means that they're communicating with Satan. That's the way that they can communicate the future. But they already knew before the person sat down. Some people have it like that. Some people that you meet, you can know that what their future is because you have a connection with them, specifically about more empathy that you have. I know, of course, it's not our job to fix them, but just don't judge them anymore. But I just don't judge them anymore. Well, there's no point to judge unless you've essentially judged yourself. Why did F fumble so much after the Fed rate cut? It's not the Fed rate cut. It's that essentially we had a massive crash because of Binance, essentially mirrors the BitMEX crash during COVID. That's the same. BitMEX crashed during COVID. Bitcoin went from 7K to 3,800. Do you know I held that big BitMEX crash? So BitMEX exchange crashed where they were selling Bitcoin at like 30% below retail, like below the other exchanges, because the exchange went into some scam. And then I had Ethereum from $210 to $80 in like 1 week. fell like 70%. Do you think AI is one big bubble? I remember when these venture firms started. It's not. Depends what you are to say with a bubble. Do I think that it's going to be an enormous bubble? Of course. These they're investing 500 billion and they're doing. That's the beginning. That's the beginning. They're not the exit liquidity. Like the firms investing are not exit liquidity. Retail will be exit liquidity when they actually deliver a palatable product in a few years. They're not the dumb money. Like, do you think they're dumb money? You can't even invest in OpenAI. Do you think they're dumb money investing at 400 billion? If they were dumb money, they would be giving you a chance to invest. You can't invest in the future yet. You can invest in it at 2 trillion if you're lucky. You can't ride that innovation. You can't invest in XAI. 30 billion, you can invest in it at like 300 billion. You can't invest in SpaceX until that's like, 300 or 400 billion. You can't invest in the IPO at like 10 billion. You can't make a 30x. Like, you can't do that. You don't have the means. You don't know the inside. You're not in the insiders club. But also understand that with AI, it's not about selling. Crypto, it's not about selling. Like, people will sit there and be like, but like someone who was like a long-term holder just sold, and like, why would they sell? They bought it $10 and they sold it 100,000. But like, why would they sell? They could just hold to 1 million. Why would they not sell? Like, it's a massive gain. It's too risky up here. Understand that with Bitcoin itself, you're moving from a position of the OGs to the institutions. OGs will sell because they realize that Bitcoin itself is not what they thought that it was, and they've made enough money. I want to get out while I still can because there's going to be a lot more laws and rules I might get looked into. Do you know, I knew a dude who had a massive Bitcoin stash because he was buying child porn, and no one knew until he got out of prison, and he was a multi-millionaire. He went to prison for it, and then he had a Bitcoin stash that no one knew about. Now he's a multi-millionaire. He was worth like 50 million. This is when Bitcoin was like 4,000. So not everything is fair. It's probably worth like 200 million now. It's just the sake of life. It's not fair. I know, of course, yes. Again, any more questions? AI itself is a bubble, yes, but you guys need to understand this is the bubble. I'll tell you guys. Crypto, tech, AI, nuclear power, robotics, gene editing, any sort of crypto mining, but essentially crypto mining will come back. That'll be a bigger thing. Essentially, you will understand that once they get this power right with nuclear power, you will see Bitcoin mining difficulty 10x. And you'll be like, how the fuck did that happen? That's intentional. Do you guys really not understand that Satoshi and Sats, that's Satan's money? Do you really not understand that? Gold is God's money. Bitcoin, Sats, Satoshi is Satan's money. That's real. One is God's store of value because God has decentralized it through the world. He scattered it through the world for people to find. Like, it's all decentralized by like nature. Nature decentralized it. It's there's part here, part there. They'll find new mines. Some like broke country will be like, wow, I didn't know that like we just found like these fucking massive reserves, and they'll have that. They just don't have the means to excavate it yet or identify it, but they'll have it. Some country who's a fucking broke ass country will have deposits that are probably the biggest in the world, and no one knows yet because the country is just like broke and full of war. But and then essentially what happens with Bitcoin, it's decentralized and it rewards the early participants. But it's an artificial version of gold. It's a mirror. Gold is yellow. If you look at gold in a mirror, it's orange. Don't you understand? It's a mirrored concept. Archangel Michael defeats Lucifer. Michael Saylor is a massive evangelist of Bitcoin. Have you ever heard Saylor talk about Bitcoin? It's Prometheus fire. It's a swarm of cyber hornets to look after the chain. You don't see the locust revelation concept. You don't see the Luciferian concept of a guy who talks about Prometheus all of the time. You don't see the 21. 21 times 21 is 441. And then 144,000 Christians go to heaven. That's the truth of the matter. Like that's it. There'll be 144,000 people that don't get the mark of the beast in the future. There won't be many. How did I call in silver so early? Because if you guys had have listened to my calls on nuclear, you would have made 10x on pretty much any nuclear stocks like 14 or 15 months ago. I said the whole world had to go nuclear and whoever went first wins. Those stocks are up like 5 or 10x. I called on silver early because I'm the greatest of all time. It's true. The worst thing for me is, though, that most of my things I'm so early. Like, I'm so early on most things that I look like a madman because I have been my whole life. 2015, when I was buying Bitcoin, I looked like a maniac. I used to tell people since like 2016, 2017, what Bitcoin was. And a lot of people said that I was completely crazy. Do you know my whole life, people have said that I was crazy? When I was a kid, they used to call me Stephen Strange because a lot of my ideas were weird. I was a weird kid. And the ideas that I would sit and talk to people and I would be like, I don't have anything in common with these people. Their ideas and things that they're into, I have no interest in. I don't care about celebrities. I don't care about sport. I don't care about, we have to watch the boxing and the UFC. I like it and I can watch it, but I don't care. I don't care if a fighter loses. It doesn't mean anything to me. I can still have guys where I'm like, they're cool and I hope that they do well, but I don't give a shit. BlackRock and Sailor will collab. You'll live a time where in the next probably 2 to 3 years, US will privatize 10% of MicroStrategy. There's another bit of alpha for you guys. They've bought 10% or essentially acquired 10% of Intel. They'll acquire 10% of MicroStrategy, and that will be the US's Treasury Reserve. Trump will serve from 2028. Trump may never get out of power ever again till he dies. Nothing is the same in the US. I hope you know that. Elections time, it is like Trump is a king and all of this. That's true. The jokes, the thing with Trump that he's so good at, he jokes about things that are real because he softens you up to it. He bends reality. He's a master class. Trump is a master. Like he's a master class. He's the perfect guy to push you guys through the essential technocracy funnel and essentially push you to your next overlords. Because he's like when a person is to be euthanized or a dog's to be euthanized, you take them with their owner and their owner has them and they feel comfortable. At least it's something that they know. Like it's okay to go down with Trump because you're kind of like, he's like kind of like you. He's not like you in that he's still an elite, but he's kind of still somewhat human in there. But when he sits there and says, I don't believe that I'm going to heaven, you best believe that he means that shit. That's not a joke because he knows what it is that he himself had to do to secure his dynasty in the future. You really think that he hasn't seen the full board and that's why he's collabed with one specific group? Do you really think they're not in collaboration? They are. He saw the full board and he realized this is the only way forward. You need to see who his daughter is married to. I'm not saying, again, I don't say it as he's a bad guy or he's this and that. He's a survivor. He's a winner. He's a hustler. Like he's a businessman. I see all of the moves on the board and I have to move one way that's going to secure my legacy. I didn't get to be this powerful to give my power away. Although you will live to see a time where one specific person will also not be voted out and they'll be in the White House. You'll live to see a time where one specific country, a lot of them will be living in the States. They'll just move over. Like if you can't realize that, that's pretty obvious. Do I see MicroStrategy doing well in the long term? Yes, because it's a Bitcoin's treasury. You guys need to understand what Bitcoin is. And I know some people will probably think that I'm a madman, but Bitcoin itself and the chain is a private GitHub repo for an emerging superintelligence. Why do you think they increased the op return function like 1000x recently? And they're fighting about it and don't understand why it was done. So they can essentially squash 1,000 times as much information in one packet, and they can stack all of the packets on top of each other. Why do you think that is? Why do they want more data on the chain? Like, what's the point? It's a fucking means of store of value. It's not really even made for payments. What are they trying to increase smart contracts and do a bunch of shit on it that they weren't meant to? Because they are going to do all of that. Smart contracts will become soul contracts in the future. There will be a meaning of like an ASIC idea where essentially you don't know what ASICs are to become into the future. And that will be your mark of the beast. You'll exist in a hash. You'll be hashed on the chain. Hash will be a form of scolding. It'll be a burn that you'll have to get to be on the chain. And essentially that will be your UBI mark of the beast. You'll be singed. Might be on a laser. Might not be painful. But that will be true. The thing about Trump is that you see him being worried about getting into heaven. I mean, yeah, well, it's not just that he's worried about it, but he's accepted that. You really think that these megalomaniacs, do you imagine what shit they would have to do to be that powerful? You think that he's not on the Epstein logs? You think that he doesn't like pussy for some reason? Do you think that it's not easy for a guy to think, oh, I'm fucking an 18-year-old girl when I'm fucked up? Actually, she was 16. Do you think that that's pretty easy to happen to many guys? That can happen. I thought it was legal. I was smashed. They told me that this chick was 18. There's fucking cameras in the wall. I didn't know that. and now I'm getting my dick sucked by a 17-year-old while doing blow and doing other shit. Do you think people like that can't get trapped as well? Do you think they can't have dirt on them from like 20 years ago or like 30 years ago? He's fucking old. If they want to monitor you for a long time, they can get dirt on everyone. Everyone has secrets. Everyone has fucking shit that they themselves know that if you're to be a president, that it can fuck you over. And if they can't, they can just get rid of people around you. Like anyone can die on such an idea. Look at that Kirk, just got his head blown off. You think that can't happen to anyone? Understand that you yourself are only alive because people that matter haven't decided to kill you. And if they decided to kill you, it doesn't mean anything and they just will. And nothing will happen. They won't catch the person that gets rid of you if they want to. If you post something online and just by some very rare event, you trigger the wrong person and they're important, you're fucked. Like you're just gone. You just disappear. If you post something about a certain person or talk about someone's kids or something and it upsets them, you're finished. Like that's the world that we're moving into, where it's not just social credit will help and essentially be one way they control the masses, but they can still kill people if they want. It's not a big effort. Like people get murdered in the States all of the time. And then they're just like this person committed suicide, fell off a balcony or died from an overdose, or he blew his brains out, all of that. A lot of those things aren't actually suicides. They're just killing people. You go in and then some agency, you just walk in your apartment, two guys are there from an agency and they just subdue you and then organize the weapon so it looks like you blew your head off and then just stage the crime scene. They do that extremely well. That's their job. And they don't care. They don't care if you're an American and they themselves are American as well. That's their job. They will do what their job is. And some of the things with America, that's the problem, is there's agencies that are working there that aren't American. That's a big problem. The CIA is being penetrated in a way that it's being overtaken by one other agency right now. So you don't have the Patriots. You haven't seen the Patriots that are CIA running around being like, this is a problem. And they're patriots. People see these like government services shutdowns and things, and people laugh when like tax officials and things get shut down, and it's funny because they're like, maybe they said something or they had blue hair. They still see it, maybe some human in you. Like they're still Americans. Americans will not be as bad to Americans as foreigners will be. Someone who doesn't look like you, you'll always treat much worse than someone who does look like you. Like if you're to go to prison in UAE, part of why it can be very hard is because you're like a white boy. And they don't care. Like they don't see the brother in you at all. Those places. You're not them. Like you'll always be crueler to someone who isn't the same as you. It's true. Because it's easier to like victimize a person. It's easier to just create and push a lot of crap on their head. Like when two different religions fight, it's easier to be like, they're so different from me. But they're not. Like they're not that different from me. They're still people. And that's the saying. Any more questions, guys? If we want to talk about women, I mean, a lot of you, again, just need to soften your stance against women. If you're watching any red pill content at all, even to laugh at, you need to stop doing that. You need to stop watching red pill crap. How sure are you about the third term? I'm very sure. I was sure about the third term a year ago. I posted it in my Telegram. I said that I had a vision. I did. I had a vision of 3 terms for Trump. And now they're starting to talk about his third term. Understand that's serious. The only thing that will determine if he doesn't do it is if he himself are to get some issue. That won't be intentional. That will just be, nature's hold. Because he is old. That's the only thing that's going against him. But there will be a Trump in the third term. That's my only offsider, is that I knew that it was a Trump. A woman is worth it. But again, a woman isn't going to save your life. Like there's some guys is like, I'm bored, I just want a chick, and then we can be bored together. A woman is, again, still a person. Having a woman and just being like, oh, I'm bored and I want entertainment, so I want to bring a chick into my life. That's not anything. Like that's not what essentially it's to be. You have a girl around you because you have a plan. Like what's your plan? Do a lot of you have a plan for your life? Have you actually written down or done anything what it is that you want? Do you know? Or are you just drifting along? I'm just chasing dopamine spike to dopamine spike to dopamine spike to spike to spike to spike. I don't know what I want. I just want something different. You're never going to know who you are or essentially go on any sort of path if you don't have a vision for where you want to go. What do I think Trump's trying to achieve? All he's trying to achieve is he understands that the technocracy to come, and he's trying to, one, he's trying to stay in power, and two, he's just trying to soften people up to essentially the rules and things that are coming. He's firing people at the government and they're hiding it under lockdowns. They're not hiring. Have you seen in the last year they did a survey to say that there's not many people hiring anymore, new jobs, because they don't want any new people. They're trying for their old people to fall off and they're not rehiring because there's too many people to only sue few jobs. It's not Trump though. Like, do you really think that Trump's sitting there and he's like the one that makes the decision? He's not. He has advisors. He might have his own ideas, but he has advisors. He doesn't know everything about everything. He doesn't know shit about crypto. It's not his job. He's a businessman. He's got rich on towers and actually like physical businesses. Do you see the authorities in Dubai turning on 1984? I don't believe that it would be that far down, but I believe most governments will just, have digital IDs and things like that. They kind of have to. Dubai is good though in that they're very forward thinking. They don't like to isolate. They kind of try to think forward. You can only see what it is that they've had so far. You can't really determine it because it's still quite new. It's hard to be like, oh, I think that they'll be like this and they'll be like that. But I've never felt any bad persecution in Dubai or anything like that. It's a money city. Like people are there focused on working and trying to build things. It's not really a city of anything besides that. Of course, it's still tourists and tourism is a big part of it. All of these things, but that's the saying. And yes, DCAing in for the normie is the best thing. All right, lads, that's a good chat for today. Yeah, of course, softening your stance on women transforms your view on women. It's very true. Again, you are the change you want to see in the world. You have come in with you're approachable, therefore you actually get approached. It's true. All right, lads, till next time.